Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I am the Rambling Film Lover, and please excuse my very long absence. It's been a very crazy year, and I'm lucky. I feel I've fared better than most, so I'm counting my blessings, but I'm so glad to be back. And there's so much that I've got to catch up on. There are so many shows, there's so many films, so I'm gonna do my very best because number one, I just love to binge anything good. And number two, I always have very strong opinions. And I love that, and I love sharing that in my channel. That's basically what this channel has been, aside from ASMR clips, which I love to find, although the copyright strikes really do suck. But anyways, on this episode, I want to talk about a show that completely blew me away, that made me a pretty loyal fan, except for the most recent season. I'm talking about Amazon's The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Now, I originally, I had heard of it kind of a little bit, I think when the first season had come out, but when the second season was about to air, that's when everything, it was constantly talked about. I think it was also because award season had been coming up. Like it was really in my radar, and I was like, what is this? And then when I got like a quick trailer of it, I had recognized, of course, Tony Shalhoub and Alex Borstein, because I'm a huge diehard Mad TV fan, and I've always thought it was way funnier than SNL, more original, and a little more raw, with some great performances and some great writing. And so I was excited to see Alex. And I actually had recognized the lead actress, Rachel Brosnahan. I had first seen her on House of Cards, and then I had seen her on The Blacklist, which I really loved the first season, but I never really kept up with it. And it's not even a bad show, just for some reason I never continued with it. But I remember seeing Rachel, and do you guys ever do this where you'll watch something, you'll see, an actor who's playing maybe like a second tier kind of supporting role, and then you'll see them again in something else, kind of in a maybe higher position, and then you see them again, and then maybe in a film, and then you kind of follow their trajectory. She's one of those that I followed. There's another actor that I think he was like on Younger, that he played like a Zuckerberg type mogul, that I saw him recently in The Trial of the Chicago 7, I believe. God, if I'm butchering the title, I'm sorry. I had just seen it, but I got excited when I saw him, and I like that. I like seeing actors grow and book either more parts or like bigger parts. So I mean, hey, from an appearance on a show to like a movie, that's a big deal, right? So I was excited for Rachel. I always thought she was great, and I was excited. And the show was a period show, so took place in what looked like the 60s, and it takes place late 50s, early 60s. It looked like a comedy, and all the actors in it pretty much sold me on it. I thought, okay, let's do this. It's gotten rave reviews. Let's do it. Watched the first season, was absolutely hooked. I loved the premise. I loved the comedy. I loved the performances. Everything. It was just so great. And in case you guys are curious, no, I wasn't too much of a Palladino fan, as in I've seen Gilmore Girls all the way through, and I did see what was released on Netflix, which is like the year in their life, but I wasn't like too much of a fan of it. It wasn't bad. I think I just kept watching it because I was like, I started it, I guess I gotta finish it. I don't know if you guys did the same thing, but I did. So I was like, okay. This, though, The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, I loved it. I loved the writing. Everything was perfect. Their dialogue is probably one of my favorites. I love Midge. I love how she's always on, honestly. Even when she's off stage, like, that's how she is. She's a natural, conversationalist, gabber. I don't know what else to call her. She's fantastic. I love her family. And I loved what happened. I loved that this show is about her growing. Her whole life is upended. Her whole her marriage, everything, the person, her husband, the man she loved, who I guess she thought she knew, just kind of, sorry, spoilers, he leaves her, and after she thinks everything is so great, and you do think they're great together. I have my own opinions of Joel, her husband, but after all that, just one fateful night, drunken fateful night, she just gets on stage and just does her stream of consciousness bit, and she is sold on Susie is just hooked on her. Susie is Alex Borstein's character. She sees this gem, this potential, and for Susie, it's also the same recurring theme. She wants, I guess the show is about kind of like following a dream, or just following a new life and seeing if you can make it. Midge probably never wanted to always be a stand-up comic. That was her husband Joel's dream, but after a few I think in the first season there's a bit of doubt, but then after she's like, no, she goes hard for it and she wants the career. So it's like she realizes she does want it, and I like that that's what the theme of this show is. Something happens in your life and you're living a new life that maybe you never thought you could achieve, but they do. And this goes for the rest of her family as well. This actually goes for most of the characters we see. So I loved that. That's why I was hooked on it. And I love that it took place in the late 50s, 60s, because at that point, there weren't that many female comics, and a lot of women were stay-at-home wives or whatnot. Like, there's a lot to play into. Like, there were a lot of rules they kind of had to follow. And I like that this was like the story of a woman breaking down barriers. Also showing her parents, like, no, I can do something. No, I don't want to go back to my husband. I can do something. It's a new era, and I'm funny. That should be the main point of the whole thing. I am funny, so much so that she's comparable to like Lenny Bruce almost, who I love his character so much. I think he's one of my favorites. So I'm watching this show, I'm in love with it. I love her growth. I love there's I think one episode that shows how she takes a joke and like tweaks it and molds it to a real like great joke that in the end, I think Susie remarks that she has her tight 10, which is I guess like a perfect stand-up act. Like, everyone laughed, everyone clapped at all the jokes. It was perfect, and I like that. I like that you see her growing. She was raw talent. She was talent, but she was raw. She still needed to tweak it. And she's landing gigs, and by the end of the first season she's already like done her small little tour, so I love it. And as for the other characters, Midge's parents are going through their own thing as well. Her mother's frantic because she's worried for her daughter. Survival back then was based on who you married when you were a woman, so I could see her freaking out about it. And also I guess the reputation of the family, it was just a bunch of ridiculous things that they had to follow. So her mother's whole life is in disarray or whatnot as well. But I liked that it was kind of funny. There was a lot of quirky, kitschy moments, but I loved it. It worked. I even liked the introduction of the competitor character, which is Sophie Lennon, played by Jane Lynch, who is a very, very successful stand-up comic who relies on this gimmick, this caricature of a woman from Queens, with a frumpy appearance. And I liked that she grows as well, or she changes her life because what she sees in Susie. Susie has ambition. Susie fought for Midge, and she wanted that. This is a very established woman in the comedy world, but she actually is a very hoity-toity, refined woman who dreams of, more serious stage plays. So she wants Susie to be her manager as well. And this adds this awesome tension because Sophie is like the nemesis of Midge. And so for the manager to have both of them as her clients, I love it. It's perfect. Makes for some great drama, some conflict. Season 2 continues on with all this. Like it has a great flow. We see Joel and Midge have an interesting relationship, kind of how they co-parent. It's a beautiful thing. We see Midge find love. She goes to the Catskills and she meets Zachary Levi's character, and there's a flirtation of romance there because he appreciates her kind of quirky weirdness, and I thought that was great. I also loved that Midge gets a job And I guess late 50s, 60s New York, like if maybe it just was kind of looked down upon for some class of people. I'm not really sure. Her parents are very stunned that she has to work, mostly her mom. But I guess it's just kind of like, no, you had a life, you had a husband. Like, why are you gonna go work? That's. I guess that's not what she does or whatever. But I loved that she got the job and she met these great people. She's very, very independent. She has gained her independence. She was always like, it seemed independent in the marriage, but she's also independent now in the city. Basically, as like, a single mom. She's got this dream, but it's not really feeding her, so she's got to get a job. So she works the makeup counter at I forgot the name of the store, but it's B. Altman. I guess it's kind of like a Neiman Marcus or something. God, forgive me if that's not a very good comparison, but I like that. There's so much happening in her life, and she's growing. And in the second season, Susie is growing as well. She's doing everything she can to get her these great gigs, including one in the Catskills, where Midge's father, played by the fantastic Tony Shalhoub, by the way, I loved Monk, where her father is in the front row and he sees this. He's introduced to this, dirty, filthy humor, and I guess is stunned about it. But that, again, that's another perfect storyline. I love it. Add all these sort of tense other storylines that Midge has to deal with. Season 3. You can imagine, after these first 2 stellar, incredible seasons, how excited I would be for the third one, especially since the third one is supposedly introducing us to her bigger tour break. After doing what, like a small, the last bit on like a telethon, she is approached by Shy Baldwin, who's, a singer, crooner guy who says, I like your comedy and I want you to open for me when I tour. And this is like the biggest thing you can get, especially as a stand-up comic. This is huge. This is money. This is exposure. This is fantastic for her and for Susie. So you're excited. I was excited. I'm like, yes, I want to see where this takes her. I want to see what happens to Susie. And I want to see what happens to Sophie Lennon and Midge's boyfriend, her husband, her ex-husband, her parents, everything. What's the next step? And I'm picturing like a higher tier. Season 1's right here. Season 2's a little higher. Season 3's even higher. I'm doing the thing with my hands where I go up, up, and up. I was so disappointed in season 3. The first episode started, I feel like the first episode was okay. It kind of was guiding me towards something. But no, sadly it didn't last. And all I can really say about it is, what the hell were they thinking? I honestly don't know what would have possessed the writers or the creator, whatever, all of the above, to go in the direction that they went in for season 3. It's like they totally gave up on everything that they had promised us in the previous 2 seasons. Let's take my number one example, one that irks me the most, because it relegates a great actress and a great character to something convenient. I don't think it's exactly a Deus Ex, because I would think a Deus Ex helps the writer. I don't know, I guess just helped the writer, but I hated it. Sophie Lennon, who I love, really, why? And who I was excited to see succeed. I wanted to see her succeed. Yes, she is painted as the villain, I get it. She is, for me, it's more like competition. I wanted her to do well, and I was so excited, and you really believe it. She is now pushing to be taken as a serious actress, and she wants Miss Julie by Strindberg. She wants to play that role. Let's do it, and I want serious actors in it. Susie, by her sheer magic, talent, fortitude, what have you, while also going to Miami Beach and, managing Midge, is able to make this happen. She has the wonderful Carrie Elways come in to play the leading actor who's going to play, against Sophie. She gets all this done. She even One of the best scenes ever. She even manages to get Sophie just in the right mindset. I guess Sophie is a bit of a petulant child for some things. Even though she sounds refined, lives a refined life, I guess she was still afraid. So there's an episode where she's really nervous. Really, really nervous in the rehearsal. I guess it's doubts because it's just, let's say 10, 20 years of playing the loud housefrau from Queens, and now she's about to embark on what she's really wanted to do. I can imagine she's intimidated, but she's like freaking out. She's almost like catatonic. Susie gets in there and gives her one hell of a pep talk in true Susie fashion to get her in there and to do this thing. And everyone comes out in such this is just absolutely believing that they're gonna pull this off. Even Susie's almost bewildered by how good she is and how good this is going to be. So there's that promise. We're getting there. And I'm actually happy for her. I'm happy. I want to see Sophie do well. And you know why? Because I want more of that tension between, I guess, all the three of them. And because this would be good for Susie. You are managing a successful female comic. You are managing an established an established female comic who's now going to be a more serious actress. It's making magic. She's getting insane experience and she's getting crazy work with these two talented women. Why would they sabotage this? Basically, Sophie, I guess, freaks out because I guess she's once again intimidated by everything. I don't know why. She can't be intimidated by the crowd. She played packed houses. But nope. I guess she freaks out. She grabs like a pillow or something, puts it in her costume so that she looks somewhat big again. Because her queen's character is wears like a fat suit. And she comes out in what is supposed to be Miss Julie. She comes out and goes back to her queen's character and just ruins the whole play. And it is so cringeworthy. Oh my god, it's more cringy than... Okay, I was gonna say it's more cringy than the Scott's Tots episode of The Office, but I don't think anything can top that. I think more than anything, I was more angry. What was cringy in season 3 with Sophie Fatale was her and Carrie Elway's characters having sex. Like, I get it in season 1 and 2, like, Sophie remarks on that, you know. She says, I effed him and I effed him or whatever. Like, okay. And it was funny, but I guess they really had to, I don't know, kill the joke in that episode. Ugh, it's so awkward. It's not even funny. I guess it's meant to be awkward, but I just thought it was, I don't know. I thought we're over that already. Sophie's growing. Let's kind of give her a little more maturity in this aspect. Again, if I'm wrong, please tell me like what you guys think. I don't think I'm wrong, by the way. But this is why I'm rambling about this, because I have a strong opinion on that. I hate what they did to her. I hate that they sabotaged her character for their own convenience so that Susie can have that moment outside the theater where she's just praising Midge and saying that, you know, she's important and she cares and this and that and you're terrible and blah blah blah. I thought it was just a cop-out. I really don't have any other words to describe it. Sabotage and cop-out. The other one I think that was kind of like a cop-out that I was more sad. Sophie Lennon sabotage made me mad. Abe's story or lack thereof made me sad. So basically their whole life is about to be upended because he quits working at Columbia. He's not working at Bell Labs anymore, which was his dream. And in the end of the season, he's talking to the attorney, Mr. Kessler. And there's this conversation they're having. Apparently they had a history before, and it seems like Abe was an activist before, as was Mr. Kessler. And maybe inspired by his daughter, I'm not sure, Abe wants to embark on this or reawaken that part of him, something like that. And I thought it was a wonderful moment. It's another dimension to him. You know, her parents, I guess in the beginning seemed kind of one-dimensional, but that's just the beginning. Then you can see the layers coming out slowly. And this one I really liked for him. It showed a different side of him. And then in season 3 they don't do anything. He gets together with some beatniks, but they're like annoying beatniks or whatnot. They just kind of hang around the apartment, basically squatters, and nothing happens. There is like a tease of it, sort of, when he goes to Miami Beach and he meets with I guess, former friend, colleague, played by Jason Alexander. He was a playwright and whatnot, and I thought, okay, here's a taste of it, but it's just a little taste, and it's not enough. We don't see much of it. He is writing in the end of the season. I know they're trying to do it again, but why did they push it? Why did they screw it up in this season? I'm assuming they're gonna try to bring it back for season 4. But there was so much that they kind of started to do that in season 3 they kind of cut, chopped up, oh, forget about it, or just it led to like some false little ending. It was really ridiculous, and I was sad. I really wanted to have more of him come on. I guess the way it was handled just disappointed me, chopped up. The other thing that I was a bit I was honestly rolling my eyes at this part was what happened with Midge and Joel. So we already knew this was going to happen. Midge is not with Zachary Levi's character anymore. It wasn't going to happen. She was going to pick her career, and as wonderful as he was, I guess their life together would have once again kind of become stay-at-home wife type of thing. It just was going to go this way, and her career was just skyrocketing that way. So I didn't mind that. It was sad, but I knew they were going to break up, and I kind of liked that in season 2 it ended with her spending the night with Joel, and how she puts it so beautifully, like, I just want to spend my night before I leave with someone I love. It was perfect. And then in season 3, like, I don't know what they're doing with Joel. Once again, Joel is fitting the theme of this show, embarking on something new in your life. He was working for a company that his uncle gave him, and then he leaves that to work for his dad, and he really fixes up the garment shop. And then his dad's like, you can't be here. You've got more potential for something else. Get out of this before, you become me. Like do something else. Do something you really want. And then pretty sure he gives him some money, hopefully, to start up something. And for Joel, his dream, even though at first it was to be a comic, but it wasn't meant to be because he's not good at that. For him, it was to open a club. He always wanted one, and he sets off on that with his lovely assistant, who I love so much, wonderful actress. And I'm seeing it, and I think it's a great storyline. And then when he visits Midge in Vegas, they get married again. They do like the Vegas stereotype, or they get drunk. Don't remember what happened, but elope. And then they're not really talking about that the rest of the season, and it just seems like this weird, I don't know, gag? Was it for laughs? Can somebody explain to me? Can someone just try to explain what it is they were trying to do with him? I kind of like that he was going to have the relationship with May. I thought, okay, this is something different. Give him an opportunity to find someone else, because I don't think he and Midge could really end up together. But I guess I did kind of hope for maybe the flirtation again. But that's honestly neither here nor there. I don't know if you want to be Team Joel or Team whoever else. Maybe Team Lenny. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. But I was just confused and really irritated. I thought that was cheap. But speaking of Lenny Bruce, I really don't know my opinion on them almost spending the night together, or him wanting her to spend the night. I thought they had some great episodes together this season. I think it's probably one of the only good things about it. I loved seeing I think his name is Luke Kirby, who won an award for this, by the way. So did Alex, and I think so did Rachel. But I really, really like Lenny Bruce, and I didn't mind what they did with him there. I liked more scenes with him. I felt in season 3 we were owed a little more, whereas in 1 and 2 it was okay to kind of keep him just kind of appearing here and there. But for 3, I liked seeing this bit of him. I think some people maybe were upset that they did almost sleep together, and some people were upset that they didn't. I'm right in the middle. I'm okay with it. For those of you who don't know, spoiler, Lenny Bruce is on some borrowed time here. He does not live a long life, so I'm assuming we're gonna see maybe that in this show. So I guess he's the only constant. I still loved the stand-up, and the performances were still good, but there was a lot of irritating moments, and I feel like a lot just relegated to cheap, corny, cringy humor. It just was not the natural progression. I didn't expect it to go this way. 1 and 2 seemed very different from 3. I don't know if it's a season 3 curse, season 3 blip, season 3 flop. I'm not sure, but I do know there are other shows that have had a sort of past season 2 moment. I'm talking to you, Glow, but I'll make an episode about that for another time. But I just felt like, why? I'm not even sure I'll even want to watch season 4. Like, that's how bad it is. When I'm committed to something, I'm committed. But if it seems like they don't know what they're doing with the characters anymore, it's not like they're taking risks to me. It's kind of like they just want to be shocking, maybe. So basically, that's my whole ramble spiel about a show that I do love, holds a special place in my heart because of its originality, but who has me wavering in my loyalty. So, I mean, we both know I'll probably still watch the first episode of season 4 whenever it comes out, but I just don't like what they did. And if they're gonna try something for season 4, I'm hoping it would be something that would do season 1, I guess, justice. But anyways, that's my opinion. That's my ramble. Leave any comments. What do you guys think of the show? Have you seen it? What's your blip show? What's your show that started out great, that maybe ended terribly? Is it Lost? Is it Prison Break? Is it anything else? Is it new? Any new shows you guys want me to see? Anything like that? Just let me know. I'm always interested in recommendations. I watch a lot of stuff based on recommendations. I would say 50% is trailer, hype, an adaptation of something I love, and the other 50% is just word of mouth. Like, hey, I think you'll like it because it's this, etc. Or go in blind. I think you'll like it. I'm not going to tell you what it's about, etc. Let me know. Please stay safe, guys, and I'll see you next time. I leave you now with one of my most favorite and always consistent parts of the marvelous Mrs. Maisel, the costumes. Enjoy, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Maisel.com.